As I think back on my early days learning Veena in Bombay, I think of my first guru, Sri Devakota Narayana Iyengar. I was about 6 years old when I started going to him for classes. My chitti or my amma or my party used to take me to his house for classes. He was a rather stern-looking gentleman, very, very disciplined and with very clear expectations from his students. I had one-on-one classes with him, and that's where I got my foundation on the Sarli Varshays, Janta Varshays, the Arta Varshays, Alankarams, getting my Veena fingering straight. He was very, very particular about fingering techniques. I still remember the way he used to teach us Alankarams in class, where he used to not only go from sa to sa, but he used to make us go from the Mandara Panchamam to the Tarasthai Panchamam and make us do Alankarams in different ragams. Mamalagale, Kalyani, Todi. This is just about 6 to 9 months into learning the Veena, and he would expect us to get all the gamakams right. He would expect us to get all the talams right as we were doing it in 3 different speeds. And I really credit all my foundation in fingering to him as my first guru. He then moved away from Bombay, and I started learning from Srimati Kalyani Sharma, who was a senior disciple of Sri K.S. Narayana Swami, and I started learning from her in Shanmukhananda Sabha. And we used to be in group classes. We used to have classes 3 times a week. And as I progressed, she talked to my mother and said, I would like to teach Srikanth one-on-one. I think he can go far. So I started taking private lessons from her at her house, and she was such a caring and dedicated teacher. I still remember Kalyani Mami going to her house, really warm family, interacting with all of them. And she really took a strong interest in making sure that I had a good repertoire. After a few years of learning from her, we made the decision to move away from Bombay and move to the United States. And I remember she was rather taken aback at that decision. She actually went out of her way. She said, I'm going to notate a whole lot of kritis for you. I'm going to record them from you on cassette tape. And she sent this priceless treasure with me when I left for the US. And I still have all her notation of all the kritis that she taught me, including the ones that she did just before I left for the United States. Once I moved to the United States, I worked with all that material and kept furthering my music. And thank you to those 2 initial gurus that I had for the very strong foundation and for all those gems that they imparted to me that I still work with my students and make sure they have the strong fundamentals. So again, it's a great pleasure to celebrate this 30th year anniversary of Nadanidhi, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you on August 3rd.